أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. Alhamdulillah, we approach the end of the surah now, and in the last session the punishment of the people of Jahannam and the Tagheen, those wrongdoers, the unjust people, and their experience, how it would be in Jahannam, and how that punishment would be in line as a recompense, in line to what they did, and how because they didn't pay attention to the hereafter, they didn't pay attention to the day of Hisab, right? They didn't give it importance. That's why they are in the state that they are. And the last ayah was, Allah Ta'ala said, would be saying to them, فَذُوقُوا فَلَن نَزِيدَكُمْ إِلَّا عَذَابًا, that taste the punishment. Allah Ta'ala would say to them, taste the punishment, for never shall we give you increase except in torment. Now, the next passage, it's a change of dimension. It will speak about Jannah and the people of Jannah and their blessings. Some of the ulama in the tafsir mention that this is also an increase for the punishment of the people of Jahannam. Why? Because after it was being told to them, taste the punishment of Jahannam, now it's being told to them what Jannah is. So they'll be in the torments of Jahannam and they'll hear about the blessings of Jannah and the people of Jannah and how they are living. And so Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا, that yet indeed for the God-fearing there is bliss. Right? Muttaqeen comes from taqwa. Taqwa linguistically comes from wiqaya, which means to protect. So the muttaqeen are those people that take a means of protection. How do they take a means of protection for themselves? That they protect themselves from the dunya, they protect themselves from the shahawat, from the desires of the dunya, they protect themselves from themselves, right? For a human being, for a person to protect themselves from their nafs, from their own self. For these people, there is bliss, mafaza. He translated it as bliss, however, mafaza is that place and time of success. So Allah Ta'ala is saying for them there is an appointed time and place of success. Their success will be announced to the people will know of it. And so there's a time and place where their success will be rejoiced. That is the hada'iq wa a'naba, in orchids and vineyards. Hada'iq are gardens, great gardens. But hada'iq are gardens which are luscious with fruit and with trees. So you have the ladha of basar, you enjoy the sight, and at the same time the enjoyment of the taste. So you have fruit trees, many of them. And then hada'iq are those gardens which surround a person. They're muhdiq, they surround a person. And then why a'nab? Why specifically of vineyards of grapes? Because they are known to be for their royalty. They're known to be that they're enjoyed by the way they look. They're beautiful and they taste the best. They taste sweet. Grapes are, right, a very luxurious fruit. وَكَوَاعِبَ أَتْرَابًا. And maidens of equal age, Allah Ta'ala will prepare, right? Allah Ta'ala spoke about what is the place and time of the success. Then He speaks about where that success will take place in gardens. So then it is also befitting that Allah Ta'ala speak about the next thing which a human being would want: companionship. You can have a beautiful house, you can have a beautiful garden, but you still want companionship, right? So then Allah Ta'ala speaks about the blessing of the companionship that they will be given, right? Of maidens of equal age. Atrab, right? Of equal age. وَكَأْسًا دِهَاقًا. And a cup overflowing, right? So you have the companionship, but right, specifically in the Arab culture, you don't have a gathering, or you don't have a sitting, and you don't sit with your companionship unless you have a good cup of something to drink rotating in that gathering. The Arabs were very particular about this. So وَكَأْسًا دِهَاقًا. A very good drink which they will have. But when you have a good drink, many of times you don't have enough for everyone, right? If you take the drink from a natural source, perhaps then you won't have enough for everyone. So Allah Ta'ala said, dihaqa, it will be overflowing. There is no end to that cup, there is no end to that drink. So just because it's good doesn't mean it will be less, it will be more for everyone. Now when you have these type of gatherings, right, you have gardens, you have women around you, you have the drinks around you. Now in this dunya, what do you think of? When you think of this type of gathering, you think of people are going to be talking about sin, right? You think of people are going to be talking about ridiculous things because they will be drunk. However, Allah Ta'ala says that this will not be the case for these people. So Allah Ta'ala says, لَا يَسْمَعُونَ فِيهَا لَغْوًا وَلَا كَذَّابًا. That this gathering will be, you'll have all of that enjoyment, right? So that's why prepare for that day, because right, the gatherings of this world, with all of these features, number one, their blessings are limited, and number two, that there will be something wrong with it. There will be a problem, right? That problem is that when you get all these things together, then people start to talk nonsense. So Allah Ta'ala says that لا يسمعون فيها لغوا. Therein they will not hear neither vile talk, right? So vile talk, laghu, is all of that form of speech which not only it doesn't concern us, but it could be something which is evil, it could be something which is boring as well, right? A lot of times when we have a gathering, right, before we actually talk about the subject we want to talk about, what are we going to talk about? Small talk. So Allah Ta'ala says none of these things will be there. They will what is their talk going to be? Allah Ta'ala said their talk is going to be in other places, salam, right? It will be peaceful talk. It will be saying salam to one another. It will be the hamd, the praise of Allah Ta'ala. وَلَا كِذَّابًا, right? And nor will there be any belying word. Now Allah, this is in reference to what was mentioned before. Another ayah of Surah An-Naba, وَكَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا كِذَّابًا. That those people, the people of Jahannam, what did they do? They denied, they rejected. Right? When you get these type of gatherings together, right, people who reject the message will talk amongst themselves, right? So these were the majalis, these were the gatherings of specifically who? The rich of the Quraysh, the people of Makkah who had wealth. And what would they do then? They would speak ill of the Prophet ﷺ, they would speak ill of the deen of Allah, and this still happens, right? In the dunya, when these things come together, then people end up saying wrong things about religion. People say things wrong about the deen. And جَزَاءً مِّن رَبِّكَ عَطَاءً حِسَابًا. Then all of this will come together as what? A recompense from your Lord, a gift well sufficing. So the same way Allah Ta'ala, so everything which was spoken about the people of Jahannam, in opposition to that, Allah Ta'ala is coming with what will be for the people of Jannah. For the people of Jahannam, Allah Ta'ala said, جَزَاءً وِفَاقًا. It will be a recompense for them. The reason why is this to be mentioned? Because a person would think, why would anyone be deserving of this punishment? But Allah Ta'ala is saying they will be deserving of it. But what will be given to them will be in exact accordance to the punishment. This is the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. When He spoke about the punishment, He said it will be according, wifaq, according to their sin. But when He spoke about the people of Jannah, He said that it will be not only a recompense to them. Now why mention a recompense when Allah Ta'ala could have said it could have been merely a ata, which is what? A gift which is not deserved. A gift not deserved. But He said you are also deserving of this. Because when we work and we gain a gift or we gain a salary, that's even more fruitful. It's even more sweet than when you're given something without deserving it. So Allah Ta'ala is saying partially you will deserve it. But because not only will what you will deserve, that will be less. Right? That will be less. So then Allah Ta'ala says that I will give you ata and hisaba. That I will give you that which you deserve and that which you do not deserve. And that which you do not deserve in Jannah. And that will be something which will be beyond ad, beyond number. Right? Now what did Allah Ta'ala say over here though? Jaza'am min rabbika. From your Lord. Right? The kaf referring to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ specifically. So Al-Biqai rahimahullah, he said that a partial reason why this great blessing is being given to this nation, this people, right? This is being told to us through the Quran, to this nation is because of the Prophet ﷺ. It's because of the Prophet ﷺ that the people are being given this great jaza, this great reward which is not counted and which has no account. From who is this great blessing coming from? Rabbis samawati wal ardi wa ma baynahum Ar-Rahman. From the Lord of the heavens and the earth and all that is between them, Ar-Rahman, the All-Merciful. So why is Allah Ta'ala said the Lord of the skies and the earth and everything in between it? So the kingdom, everything, the control of it, its wealth, everything belongs to Allah Ta'ala. But which Rabb, which sustainer is this? The merciful sustainer. Right? The merciful sustainer. So that Allah Ta'ala, from the beginning when He created it, as He sustained it, when He will destroy it and recreate it, throughout all that pathway, Allah is Rahman. Allah is merciful. Right? And He does all of this for the mercy of mankind, for the mercy of creation. لا يملكون منه خطابا. And now Allah Ta'ala is returning our attention to the day of resurrection. So that we know that Surah An-Naba spoke about in the beginning how they questioned the resurrection. And then spoke about in the middle of the signs of the resurrection. And so now Allah Ta'ala is bringing our attention to the resurrection again. But in specific, the state of humility on that day. The state of the humility of creation on that day. That لا يملكون منه خطابا. None hold from Him authority of address. None will have the capacity to speak. لا يملكون منه خطابا. Right? Now in this world, when if you have someone above you, if you don't speak up and you don't raise your voice in front of them, that's a choice. Right? That's a choice you can make. If you choose, you can raise your voice. If you choose, you may lose your job if they're your boss, right? But you can choose to speak up. On that day, no one even has a choice. No one can speak up. No one will have the choice. No one will no longer own their speech. La yamlikun. No one will own their speech. In this world, everyone owns their speech. Right? This is why the Messenger of Allah ﷺ also said, right? And it comes in a hadith, Amlik alayka lisanak, that make sure you own your tongue properly. Right? Give yourself ownership of your tongue properly, because you own it in this dunya. In the next world you will have to give hisab for it, and then you won't own what you say. You own what you say only in this world. When will this take place? When they cannot speak? How is that day? يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا. You yourself will be of humility on that state, in that state on the day of resurrection, and it will be that day when the ruh. Now what is the ruh? Sometimes it refers to in the Quran, sometimes ar-ruh refers to the Quran itself, sometimes ar-ruh refers to Jibreel alayhi salatu wassalam. Why is Jibreel alayhi salatu wassalam called Ar-Ruh. The ulama mentioned for several meanings. One possibly meaning that he carries life, which is the revelation. He brings the revelation which gives life to the dead. Right? Human beings are dead if they don't have revelation in their life. The other meaning, Ar-Ruh, because he is very powerful in his existence. He's a very lively being. Right? There's, for example, that narration that when he, in the Quran, we are told that when he came down and he touched the earth, and that earth became alive, and then Samiri took that soil and he threw it within a cow, a statue. Right? So Ar-Ruh refers to the fact that he is of prime existence, prime life. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ صَفًّا. But even on that day, right? Even on that day, the Ruh and the great angels will come together in lines in front of Allah Ta'ala. لَا يَتَكَلَّمُونَ. And they will not speak. إِلَّا مَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ الرَّحْمَنِ. Except for whomever the All-Merciful permits. Whoever the Rahman permits. وَقَالَ صَوَابًا. And who says what is right. وَقَالَ صَوَابًا. Now, when Allah Ta'ala will give them permission to speak, then they will only say exactly what is necessary to be said. That's what sawab means. Right? Sawab means when you have a target and then you shoot the arrow towards that target, so it's not going to go left or right, it's going to go straight to the target. Right? So what they will say will be exact, concise. They will not speak one word more than that. And this will be the condition of the angels who don't have to give hisab. Then what about the human beings who have to give hisab, who have to give account? What will be their condition? How will be their silence? And you have stages on the day of resurrection. Right? The first stage of resurrection, people will be actually raising their voices. They will be raising their voices. They will be questioning what's going on, what is happening. They will be in a state of shock. Then after the people are gathered and the account starts, and then Allah Ta'ala will take people to account. Then at that point, when the court of Allah Ta'ala will be established, Allah Ta'ala will establish silence, that no one can speak in the court. No one can speak in the court of Allah except that who is given permission to say so, that who is given permission to speak. People will want to defend themselves, people will want to make a case, but no one can make a case. Even when the angels, Allah Ta'ala said that even the angels will try to argue, right? When they will speak about the account of another person, Allah Ta'ala will say, "La taqtasimu laday." Don't argue in front of me. Right? Even the angels will be silenced. ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. That is the true day. Okay? So ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ can refer to, it can mean a few things. Al-Yawmul Haq, number one, is the true day, the real day, right? The real day. Just as real as this world is, people who are questioning the resurrection know that that day is real. The other meaning to this is, Al-Haq also means rights, right? It's that day when the people who were wronged, their rights will be given back to them, and the people who wronged, right? The people who committed the wrong, who committed the dhulm, the oppression, their rights will be taken from them on that day. Right? So people will be given rights, and there will be people whose rights will be taken away from them because of what they did within the dunya. فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. So let whoever so wills take a course to his Lord. اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ. So whoever wants it, whoever wills, right? Whoever makes the intention, they should take a path to return to Allah Ta'ala. Right? This is in opposition to what was mentioned in the ayat before. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا. Right? For the people of Jahannam, they will go and return to Jahannam as if it is their own house, as if it is their abode. Right? When we're returning back to our home, we don't even need to look at the street names, we don't need to look at GPS or anything. We know automatically where to go. Right? Unconsciously sometimes we're driving and we're going back home. This is how the people will go to Jahannam. But Allah Ta'ala is saying that instead of waiting for that time where people will be going to Jahannam and returning there, why don't you return now to me? Why don't you return now to me? Inna anzarnakum. Now the last ayah of Surah An-Naba being, Al-Baqai rahimahullah says that the whole surah and its purpose is summarized within this ayah. إِنَّا أَنذَرْنَاكُمْ عَذَابًا قَرِيبًا. That indeed we have warned you. Indeed we have warned you of an imminent torment. Qariba. Right? The point of saying qareeb is that it's great and it's near. It's near, so worry about it like something is near, right? When something's going to take place tomorrow, you prepare right away. This is something which is near. يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. On a day, the hereafter, when every person shall behold all that which his hands had advanced in this world. يَوْمَ يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ. People will be looking at what their hands put forward. And this is put very beautifully, right? In the form of which, when people go and they farm and they plant the seed, and then one day a day comes where they see what they planted. They see what they planted. So what you plant in this world, what you put forward in this world, you'll see what you put forward in the hereafter. What you put forward in this world is what you're going to see from your actions. And Allah Ta'ala said, Yadan, right? Because the hands, right? The hands are the part of our body which are committed to the most action. Right? When you're speaking about the hands, right? You're speaking about action. You're speaking about commitment, doing things. Right? Everything we do is with our hands. So Allah Ta'ala used the balagha, the rhetoric used in the ayah is very beautiful. That مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ, what their hands advanced. وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. And the disbeliever shall say that only had I been dust. Only had I been dust. They will now wish. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that Allah Ta'ala will bring the animals, and then the animals who wronged other animals will be taken to court for justice. And after justice is established, Allah Ta'ala will make them into dust. The disbeliever, he'll look at them and he'll say, look how fortunate they are. They're turned into dust. They don't have to bear punishment. I'll be thrown into Jahannam. Even on that day, they will wish they were dust. They could have been the dust of the dunya. They could have been the dust of the hereafter. That they won't have to see the torment and the punishment of Jahannam. May Allah Ta'ala protect all of us. Now the beginning of the surah, summarizing again. The beginning of the surah spoke about what? There are around a total of 4 or 5 passages, how we distributed. The beginning of the surah spoke about how the disbelievers and the people of Makkah in specific, but in general, the people who question the day of resurrection, they question this day which is real and it is great. The passage after that speaks about how Allah Ta'ala created us all in pairs, and how Allah Ta'ala, through the through the creation of pairs, sustains the world, and how the sustainment of the world in front of you is a sign of the reality of resurrection. That Allah Ta'ala every day, when the winter comes and then the spring comes, Allah Ta'ala resurrects the land in front of you. Right? When people die, Allah Ta'ala resurrects more people to continue life. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us of signs of why the resurrection was true. That was the second passage. And then Allah Ta'ala told us about the abode of the people who will pass resurrection. Either it is Jahannam, right? Either it is Jahannam, or either it is Jannah. Right? So resurrection is a pathway. You walk through that pathway, you end up at Jannah, you end up at Jahannam. And then Allah Ta'ala in the last passage spoke about the day of resurrection again, and the humility of the people and of creation on that day. So Allah Ta'ala took us on a journey and walked us through the phases. Right? So the first phase being that if you will question resurrection, when the signs are in front of you, and you know that there's either Jannah or Jahannam, then because you don't humiliate yourself in this world to the degree of the day of resurrection, you will ultimately end up humble in front of Allah Ta'ala. You will ultimately end up humble. So if you don't believe in the hereafter the way it is rightful that a person believe in the hereafter in this world, ultimately you'll end up in humility and humble to that order and that day of resurrection in front of Allah Ta'ala. And that is, we conclude with Surah An-Naba, Surah Amma Yatasa'aloon. We ask Allah Ta'ala that He grant us correct understanding of the surah, deep understanding of the surah, and forgive us for our mistakes in doing so. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين صدق الله العظيم سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب إليك.